Welcome back, everybody, to the Boomsday Invitational, live from Dr. Boom's laboratories. I'm pretty tempted to drink this thing, I'm not going to lie, because I think the worst thing that could happen is I die on broadcast, and I think that'd be a pretty epic way to go. No comment? All right,
that's
cool.
Horrifying.
What's the worst that could possibly happen? I transform into a mutant and destroy his entire studio?
You just said that you could just die.
Look,
that's the worst thing that could happen.
Look, it's for the entertainment of the fans, and I think there's at least a handful of people who have told me multiple times to drink the potion.
Let's take a look at the standings.
All right, so if you guys are tuning in halfway, we are actually at the halfway point. 3 matches in, 3 matches to go. Europe stands #1 as they are able to have the most game wins, and it depends on how much match score they have as well. So after we count the series, we count the game as a tiebreaker, and right now Europe's in #1 spot after just clean sweeping Taiwan 3-0. Coming up next, we have Korea versus America. Now, America did not get a really good start as Taiwan was able to beat them 2-1, and Korea, I heard they have even more spice to kind of go with their very interesting lineup, so to speak. And I know you're particularly happy to cast Korea always because they have the Pogo Hopper Rogue deck. I don't know what kind of archetype it fits under. Is it a mid-range deck because you're trying to build up like a slew of minions and you adapt on the game plan, or is it more of a slow control deck that uses inevitability to win? What kind of archetypes does it classify as?
You know, that's a good question. Further experimentation required.
Okay, well played, well played. We have another member of America that we're going to talk to. We have Trump that's going to be joining us for a brief interview. Trump, can you hear us? Nope, we're still experimenting, but Trump will join us in quite a second.
Change some knobs real quick.
Yeah. Can you touch that audio meter actually there in the corner? No, we actually just turned off on the perspective.
Oh,
but
sorry.
We actually have some really sick props here today to kind of give you guys the Boomsday outfit feel. Obviously, we have our outfits as lab coats and whatnot.
We always wear these.
Yeah, and we have some really exotic potions, but some of these instruments here. For example, there's actually a bunch of vials to our right. You see that little circular thing next to Admirable? There's actual blood in there. Straight up. Like we took about that at the very bottom.
Dan's gone
There's
very
a dark red liquid there. I'm just like, wow, it's actually some people's
Dan's
blood.
gone super dark for round 4. I'm not going to touch that.
It's the late hours over in Korea. What's up, Trump? Can you hear us? We're clearly stalling for time until you come back.
I can hear you guys.
What's up, man? How are you enjoying Boomsday so far?
Oh, it's awesome. There's all these wacky creations.
That's right. You know, I was listening and watching your stream when you're trying to explain the topsy-turvy test subject priest deck, you know, a while back there. Is that one of your favorite decks, given that it seemed like you were dedicating a lot of time to it?
That's definitely something. It was the first deck that I wanted to play right outside of the expansion, since I did rate those cards both 5 stars, so we're going to see whether or not it's a meme or it's real.
Wow, wasting all your stars just on those reviews. I guess everyone else gets 1 star then. Trump, talk to me about what it's like playing with Ant and Ali Straza, you know, the team dynamic. How's it going now that you guys are about to head to match 2?
Going great. Ant's really good at aggro, so you might have noticed that our lineup is tilted towards aggro, but upcoming next is a deck that I think will make Dr. Boom proud.
Ooh, that is interesting. That's right. We saw Warrior in the mix there, and I'm curious to see what you guys have in store. I guess, you know, the last question that I have for you, Trump, is, you know, you guys are down a little bit, and Europe's climbing, you know, ahead of you guys, but, you know, how are you guys going to recover from the first series going into match number 2? Because it looks like things weren't going your way.
Oh, it's easy. We have a plan to go through, yeah.
Ooh, okay, I like it. I like it. Very confident and assertive. I like it. Good luck, Trump. Thanks for joining us, and we wish the best for your upcoming series.
Thank you.
All right,
Take a quick note. Plan to go 3-0.
I hope he doesn't topsy-turvy the record, actually, and goes 0-3, because I feel like that would be lights out for America.
Well, it is only a 0-2, so you would have to buff it to be 0-3.
True. We'll find a way to get it there.
And if you're able to buff topsy-turvy, that's usually a pretty good spot.
Well, the one deck that they have not revealed was the Warrior deck. And Trump said coming up next, they have some interesting Warrior strategies. They said that make Dr. Boom proud. So I wonder if it's just straight up mech Warrior that I think a lot of people theory crafted and we're not sure, they're on the fence. And still, the jury's out right now whether or not it's a real deck. And they're going to have to go up against the Mech-Cthulhu Warlock, the Pogo Hopper Rogue, and the... Do we see the Shaman from Korea? I think we did. I think it was the token-based shaman.
I actually don't know. So something I'm thinking about with the warrior decks. You know, you talked about the mech warrior and whether or not it's like the real deal. I think the nature of warrior is that some of its most powerful cards require you to dedicatedly kill minions, right? That to me inherently makes it a tempo deck. And what that means is you either have to be super aggressive or you need to be mid-range oriented and be playing a thing and then killing a thing at somewhere around like the turn 5 to 7 point. Like those are some of your biggest turns of the game. And so the purely aggressive nature of it, I don't think is quite there. However, I do think the mid-range approach is a very realistic approach.
Yeah, or perhaps they went off the deep end and chose to go for the boom ship strategy. And there's a lot of boom ship stuff that you can do. You can play Recruit Warrior, and you know, Recruit Warrior is really powerful when you gather your party and will cleave out minions, but let's say you draw those minions, what do you do with that? Well, you boom ship them out, and then you're able to grab big tempo swings from the board, and then from that point on you secure your victory. There's also the boom ship Mechathune one-turn kill combos where you deck out, and then you play the boom ship, get Mechathune and Malagos out, and then go to town. So we'll have to see what this warrior is. It does seem to be at least mid-range at the very least, because I would be very surprised if it was full-on aggressive mech warrior with Execute and Lich King in there. But you know, warrior has not had a fairly aggressive deck since the days of Pirate Warrior, before even this entire rotation year of the Year of the Raven. So I'm looking forward to see what America's got in store for us.
Well, I like all of these cards. Bloodrazor's really good, Execute's really good, Lich King is really good, and Giggling Inventor's really good. Now, whether you want them all on turn 1, another story. But
yeah, against Rogue, nonetheless, where you play Lich King, they Vile Spine Slayer, and yeah, you really have to pick up the pieces from that point on.
So the thing to note is that it is against Pogo Hopper Rogue, and so your game plan probably shifts if that's the case. You know, Bloodrazor, I would say, is one of the key cards in Warrior, but against Pogo Hopper Rogue, your opponent's not really swarming the board. They might not even have a minion out on turn 3. You know, Bloodrazor not looking the strongest in that situation.
Yeah, and the thing about the Pogo Hopper is that unless you have infinite removal through Dead Man's Hand and shuffling in Executes and Brawls, how do you keep up with this increasingly powerful board with Pogo Hoppers and Lab Recruiter synergy?
Well, that's a great question. Pogo Hopper, a 2-mana 1/1 rogue mech that gets +2/+2 for each Pogo Hopper you have previously played.
Right. And of course, you keep shuffling more in with Lab Recruiters, and then you can Lab Recruiter your Lab Recruiter. So essentially, you have 3 extra Pogo Hoppers, 3 extra Lab Recruiters, and you guys get from that point on. You can effectively go infinite resources. And Pogo Hopper, unlike Jades, don't have a cap on their stats. They can go, you know, to the thousands of attacks and health.
No, dog, I heard you like Lab Recruiters.
And, you know, Mimic Pod picking up Lab Recruiter all but ensures that, you know, Daihoni and Team Korea will have infinite resources.
Yeah. Being able to shuffle 3 copies of a friendly minion back can do some very long-term disgusting things.
Yes. Now, that being said, you know, if Pogo Hopper is towards the bottom half of the deck, then a lot of times this rogue deck can struggle, but that's why there are ways to offset that. Things like Elven Minstrel can lean out the deck, but let's say you don't have Pogo Hopper. There are alternative ways to win. I've seen people hold out through just Giggling Inventors and just pressuring through having, you know, 4 power on board and having infinite sources of damage.
Yeah, I think that's going to be part of the game plan here for Trump and Team USA. They're going to want to get some minions on board. They're going to want to chip away left. I think that's really the way that you could keep Daihoni and Korea from just going nuts and doing whatever they want, is being able to just keep them in some sort of pressure check. Doesn't really matter how ragtag the crew is. Enough damage eventually kills a rogue.
Yeah, and I think Korea is thinking about whether or not they want to challenge this Acolyte or perhaps even return it to the hand. Very tricky scenario because you obviously don't want Warrior to draw the cards because their only way to beat you is to draw cards. But are you perhaps wasting some of your better removal tools because we don't know what Warrior deck this is?
Right. I mean, this could be any number of things from this stage.
Right.
And Bloodrazor is actively on your mind. That's like one of the key Warrior cards is Bloodrazor.
Right. But you could see that Trump and crew even threw away the Bloodrazor because they just want other cards to have at the early stages of the game.
Acolyte's pretty darn important.
Yeah. I do want to talk about Weapons Project. I actually really like this card for many reasons. Partially because it acts as weapon removal and also weapon guarantee. So what you can do with Weapons Project, which is a 2-mana spell that says both players equip a 2/3 weapon and gain 6 armor. So that when you force your opponent to equip a weapon, you can override their legendary weapon, for example. So Warlocks have Skull of the Minari, or Druids have Twig of the World Tree. Aluneth. You can just force remove it straight up. And yeah, they do get 6 damage, but you get 6 armor into the day. But then also, if you play cards like Harrison Jones, you can guarantee value off of that in the late stages of the game. So Harrison Jones can act as a superpower Ancient of Lore to just draw you cards for 7 mana. And it's you know, really insane. If you're a warrior deck that struggles on card draw in the late stages.
Yeah, oftentimes your opponent gaining the armor isn't really an important effect, I would say. And so being able to just, you know, have a weapon early on or to be able to override key points of weapons is a big deal.
Yes. All right, well, Dahuni kind of given up the fact that his opponent will have a way to draw cards with this Acolyte. Did not want to burn a Shadow Step just to deny 1 card. It is a Dead Man's Hand.
Well, we don't know if it's full on Dead Man's Hand yet.
It could be 1 copy. And if we see, say, Gather Your Party, then that all but ensures that it's just a simple Recruit Warrior that has a lot of the mech packages from the Boomsday.
So my bet would be on the Boom Ship, right? 9 mana.
Right.
Put 3 minions from your hand into play. They gain Rush. With Dry Gulch Jail. I'm sorry, not Dry Gulch Jailer. Dry Gulch. Dry Whisker Armorer. I can't remember the name of this card.
I was following your logic. I was like, yeah, the Jailer. All right, so we get Silverhand Recruits in our hand.
With the 2 mana 2/2 armor guy and Acolyte of Pain, recruiting not necessarily the best option. However, you know, maybe you can do some stuff like use these just to gain armor and gain life, and you're not playing recruit package, but you are playing the Boom Ship. And so it's to be able to gather multiple charge minions in hand and then deliver 1 lethal blow with that.
Yeah, you have Grommash Hellscream,
Charge Devil Sword.
Charge Devil Sword. There's a lot going on.
And there's a lot going on here. That's a lot of Pogo Hoppers getting added.
I want you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Pogo Hoppers.
That's 6 Pogo Hoppers on top of the one that's already in the deck. So 7 total, which brings us to you know, at least 15, potentially higher. And then what becomes scary is the idea that you have Lab Recruiters on the board, so when you combine Vanish and you combine Shadow Steps, yeah, Rogue's going to get some really big minions, but you do have Dead Man's Hand and a lot of removal tools.
What now?
Looks like Trump and crew were originally thinking about removing the board.
Yeah, buckle in is the basics of this one. We're in for quite a long game.
This could be a long game. It also could be a fast one if Warrior just ends up sputtering out. Part of the challenge with Dead Man's Hand Warrior is to balance your hand economy, plus how often you can draw, plus all the removal and what you shuffle into the deck. People have often said that Dead Man's Hand Warrior has been one of the hardest decks to play in Hearthstone. Yeah. In Hearthstone history, because there's so much to account for. You know, what do I shuffle my deck? What's the probability of me drawing a specific thing?
Now, the reward is not necessarily indicative of the decision tree difficulty.
Yeah. I feel like its power level is relatively low given how difficult it is.
Right. But to me, that's just what makes it all the more impressive.
Right. And people have won tour stops with this exact deck back in February. I remember Odemian was cleaning house with it. And you know,
oh my God, the Pogo Hoppers are getting gray.
Yes, and the Elven Minstrel is just also a key linchpin for this entire deck because it fishes out specific minions, and if you only shuffle Pogo Hoppers in, you know, one of the many reasons why I'm not exactly sure if I'm a huge fan of the Faldorai Striders version that mixes both, per se. But I do understand the logic of it. You just want to have really good early game plays, especially if it's fairly aggressive.
It's like an alternate win.
Yeah, you know, you don't have to all in on the Pogos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can build a deck around something and still be able to win in another way. I mean, that's often just wise. Like, for instance, I would love to Stormbringer everyone with my Shaman deck and only kill them with random legendary minions. Yeah. But if I only do that, then I'd probably just lose to a lot of aggressive decks.
True. Here's the problem with Dead Man's Hand Warrior from my perspective. It's the fact that, oh, okay, it looks like they're not going to value that infinite game plan. And I agree, because I don't think it's actually a sustainable game plan long term. Your opponent, if they catch wind of it, can easily just answer you back with more infinite.
Well, I'm just kind of curious about the Dead Man's Hand, like, in general in this spot. Are they just going for, like, an overwhelming amount of removal? I mean, The Lab Recruiter was Mimic potted, so the idea of, you know, pseudo-infinite resources for Diane and crew still very much a real possibility.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a really good point. And then the follow-up question is, you know, how do they actually win?
Well, I'm guessing Omega Assembly probably has some plans here. Like,
Right.
for instance, never casting it before turn 10.
Oh, that's another problem, too. Hand space. If you play Lich King, you burn another card. If it's your Boom Ship, for example, that might be it.
I love the way that works.
Yeah, with the little cog wheel or
I feel like I'm a mini
saw.
I feel like I'm a mini pilot.
So the Giggling Inventor just trying to stall. Oh, Valera, the Hollow picked up.
So if Dione and Korea plays this, they will burn a card next turn, but they have like everything in their hand they need. The only card I think they would care about burning right now is the second Lab Recruiter.
Ooh, that would be devastating.
But
I mean, still win, I think, despite that.
I mean, you've added, you know, still cards to your deck. You burn a Pogo Hopper. You don't really care that much in this spot. You have plenty of other stuff. So Lab Recruiter, I think, is the only burn of consequence left in the deck.
But I
Korea.
think they're at 8 cards, so I think they're okay.
Did they play another card?
No, I think literally the Hollow is the 9th card.
Did I just count the hand wrong?
Yeah,
I just counted the hand
it's
wrong. My
something-
apologies.
Something that you should be aware of, though, is that the Shadow Reflection comes in first before you draw the card, so you will burn some really important cards. And I have done that fairly recently. When I played Malagos Rogue, I used a new Necrium Blade with the Cobalt Illusion to try to pull out Malagos for 4 mana instead of 9, and maybe copy versions of it with like the Necrium Vial.
Yeah.
I burned my Malagos because it was like the last card that I drew.
You're like, oh, oops.
You gotta be careful with the instance. So now that we're wide on the board, we're basically praying for our opponent not to have advantage in some capacity. And to make matters worse, our opponent's at 32 life, so...
Yeah, you're also hoping they don't have like 90 million Pogo Hoppers.
Well, if they do have 90 million Pogo Hoppers, we do have to
What is going on?
Here's the big problem, too. Like, this is exactly what I was talking about, where, like, I've seen these Pokehopper rogues win just through, like, infinite Giggling Inventors. It's not a laughing matter.
You know that Annoyatron Twitter where it only tweets out, hello?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I am very aware of the novelty account, where, you know, basically, anytime you said anything like Annoyatron related, it would auto-search.
But it's not a bot, though.
Oh, it's not.
If you can go look, and it's somebody physically replying to the, because you can see the location thing, or whatever. You can see what time it posts. It's not a bot.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it goes inactive sometimes too.
Huh. I thought it was a bot that auto replied.
No, it's a person doing that. Whoever that's a very dedicated individual to Annoyatron, and I respect that.
That is a person with a lot of free time.
Just copy paste every single day.
Man, you use our warpaths. We don't have our win condition. We have the Lich King, and the Lich King can steal stuff. So that is my idea. And here's another thing too. That life total that the rogue has might even be relevant. Let's assume that we even can get past these armies of Annoyatrons.
Okay, Death and Decay helps that.
Right, but let's assume we can even get past that. Do we even have enough damage to even have relevance to pressure the rogue at this point?
Well,
because we gave him 6 armor.
You know what they say? Once you kill a bunch of Annoyatrons, there's nothing but giant Pogo Hoppers left. It's a classic saying.
Oh my gosh, he can even just utilize Biospine Slayer with the Shadow Reflection. I mean, the hand efficiency is so good with Valera the Hollow. The fact that you can get so early on curve. I mean, I was looking forward when Trump was like, yeah, we have something special for the Warrior, but I think this is one of its worst matchups possible.
It's looking like that. There's just not a lot of ways to efficiently take care of you know, Diane and crew drawing 2 cards a turn effectively. And it's not they're just drawing 2 cards a turn, they're drawing copies of those cards.
Right, they make pot every single turn. Now, the Omega Assembly is interesting because what could come out of it? Oh,
that helps.
Well, that clears everything.
Look at that little Goblin Bomb, too.
Okay.
Boom. Suit that up with a 3/8.
That makes Boomship a lot worse.
Get Vile Spined instantaneously.
Well, one Vile Spine was used, which is nice to know, but it's not even necessarily the Vile Spine, it's like Vanish, right? They play a bunch of stuff and Vanish.
I wonder.
I'm still looking at 5 Pogo Hoppers in hand, which is potentially 10 Pogo Hoppers over the next 5 turns. That's a lot of hopping.
I must choose.
And I think it's going to happen.
What now?
You're
Smart.
Well, looks like they're going to be even more conservative. I think they're not exactly sure if they have the Pogo Hopper and they want the Dynomatic to be reactive.
No. It doesn't respond. It doesn't touch Pogo Hoppers, though.
It does for Execute, so you can Dynomatic and then Execute.
It's non-mech.
Oh, you're right. It's non-mechs. So they're hoping that your opponent plays a non-mech minion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
this
you know,
is looking
their
rough.
entire win condition are mechs.
Death's shadow.
I just stare at that animation of the Pogo Hopper. I'm like, where is he going?
Dione is like thinking about how far does he want to extend, but I think the reality is if they just keep playing 1 card a turn with these Pogo Hopper threats, Warrior's just going to run out of cards. They don't have to extend that much further. Yes, it'd be awesome to play 3 Pogo Hoppers, ramp up your minions, but just play 1 of those Pogo Hoppers per turn in the Shadow Reflection. You won't ever run out of, you won't run into hand space issues because you're playing 2 cards. And your opponent just has to deal with a suffocating amount of pressure turn after turn.
Suffocating is the right word there, because there is a reprieve on this immediate turn, but Trump and Crew are going to be in the exact same position on the following turn.
Now, I do think that there is a way to win if Trump and Crew can discover Mecha through a Mega Symbol. However, they
Is that
just
their plan?
no, because they shuffled their entire hand into their deck. they shuffled 9 extra cards. That's not how you win with Mecha'thun. So if that was their plan, they definitely made it significantly harder.
This is the plan now.
Yeah. Well, they're not playing Omega Symbol even though they have this hand space issue for it. I think that's maybe respect to Vanish, perhaps? Because they would have 9 cards total.
Oh my gosh, they're so big. I'm going to play an even larger bunny.
Oh, hey, card draw. So you can.
Yes, just what we needed.
I think we need to keep our resource count as high as possible, and I'm pretty sure that right now my plan to win is Mecha'thun through a Mega Symbol. And that's not even. That's still a 1% chance to win. I think in my mind.
24 attack already on board.
Per 4 mana.
I think you're done.
Well, I think you done goof by shuffling that hand in.
Yeah, that too. You're done.
It's, you know, and all things considering, I can understand perhaps the logic of trying to shuffle cards into your deck. You want to have a lot of resources. You felt like your hand, you know, your hand was like fairly reasonable, but you know, the Pogo Hopper deck is so quick at ramping once they get the Death Knight up that it feels almost, you know, overwhelming. Like you just can't keep up with it whatsoever.
The way that you beat Pogo Hoppers is you pressure them. And the way that you beat stuff like Control Warrior is you Pogo Hopper them. It's just a ton of stuff, turn after turn. Good luck. You are the control deck as the Pogo Hopper deck. You've turned their control deck into a bad aggro deck.
How high do you think these Pogo Hoppers can jump?
Right now they're at 17 feet and counting.
Meters, we're trying to be international.
Okay, meters, 17 meters and counting.
Yeah.
Look, would you rather face one building-sized Pogo Hopper or 100 Pogo Hopper-sized buildings? Like, I don't know where I was going with that.
Did I shuffle 9, you know, weak cards in my deck beforehand?
It's something about like the chicken, like the something-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized somethings.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Pogo Hopper thing.
The horse and the ducks. But you got this Harrison to help bail you out, and I think we're gonna find, you know, whether or not just not drawing the big cards that they need. This is the cards you shuffled into your deck.
Yeah, big yikes.
What are we gonna do with this? Okay, Stonehill Defender, can it pick up anything else? Because we saw a couple of those taunt minions like Diehorn Hatchling and Tarlor, but I just don't see a lot of ways out here. Neutral mech's picked up. Scorpo-matic. You could kill the first Pogo Hopper. Okay, but, you know, they are putting reasonable pressure, and all things considering, you know, you can put your opponent down to 20 life.
Here's the issue I'm seeing is even at, like, say they just get Dynamic Crew down to like 3. One Pogo Hopper and Ziliax is going to heal them to full.
Yes. Ziliax's Pogo Hopper will be actually more powerful than Reno Jackson.
Ziliax is Divine Shield, Taunt, Lifesteal, Rush, Magnetic, and Pogo Hopper is a mech. So you can attach Ziliax to a Pogo Hopper.
And just literally, if your opponent doesn't have a minion.
21 attack!
And, you know,
I, for one, welcome our new Pogo Hopper overlords.
they're Stop adorable. Shuffling stuff in your deck. I mean, it's okay. A 6/9 is great, but, you know, not now. Like, what? I don't understand what we have to do here.
You know, sometimes it just be that way. It's okay to just move on sometimes. That can happen.
Part of the Boomsday Project flavor of the set, if you will, is when, you know, science goes too far. Well, this is way too far. See, we've crossed that line. The line is a dot.
For me, it's not far enough. I want more. How do you make a dinosaur look small? Well, this would be it.
I'm just looking at that Scorpo-matic and, you know, the Mauler that can't attack unless you play a spell.
Big yikes.
Okay, that being said, as much as we are making jokes and kind of, you know, in a way disrespecting the American team here.
It's not disrespect to the team. This is just Pogo Hopper.
This is just bad matchup, yeah. As much as we're kind of like, you know, joking around here, we're still waiting to see what this warrior can actually do. You know, like right now, its game plan is much better suited for the Zoo Warlock we saw, the Odd Paladin that might be there.
Aggressive decks.
The aggressive decks. But Team Korea has more decks like this. They got, you know, janky Mech-Cthulhu Warlock. At least I think so. I don't know if we've seen it, but I heard that there were some discard shenanigans in there.
They've got some off the wall strategies.
Right, and they have, you know, other really weird decks. So, like, you know, Europe would be a great opponent for them, perhaps. Korea?
All right, well, this is the final Pogo Hopper right now. So,
well, they have Shadow Step.
That's the thing, is they're probably in the business of somehow creating more Pogo Hoppers.
They actually have...
Oh, it's lethal.
Oh, it is straight up lethal because they have double Vile Spine Slayer. This game is finally over.
I forgot. The Pogo Hoppers were 20 attack.
Oh, my God.
Bomb! 25 of attack.
Oh, some BM flavor I like. All right, well, that was brutal. Daihoney and Korea take game number 1, and you know what? That rogue is undefeated, Admirable. You may have convinced another one. Granted that it did end up facing up against 2 really good matchups, like a slow Druid in the very beginning of the day, and that was Malygos Druid, and then also going up against a Warrior. Now, if it was, let's say, Odd Rogue, I think that would be a very different matchup. So be very careful on ladder if you guys choose to play this deck, because even though it looks unbeatable right now, if opponent plays, you know, Dire Mole into Cold Blood, you are going to be in for a world of pain.
It's not fun to play against that. I will tell. The aggressive decks are where that deck struggles. If you're running into a lot of slow, grindy control decks, that's the time to unleash the Pogo Hoppers.
Oh, yes. Yeah, release the bunnies. Yeah, but right now, it just looks like Korea is in good position to keep up the pain train. In America, you know, the 3-0 prophecy from Trump is already shattered. But where's the damage control going to be? Are they going to be able to win the next 2 games, or perhaps bomb out here? If they even topsy-turvy to a 0-3, that means they're out of the running to win this entire event.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, Dr. Boom did not show up in that one.
That's right. He's like, Dr. Boom would be really happy.
Well, and he took the day off, it seems, in that game.
He made an appearance in a different series, but did not end up, you know, helping Taiwan out in a really crucial victory when against the Zoo Warlock from Europe. So yeah, I maybe they queue up it again. Maybe, you know, but they can't do it without Trump. Trump is going to be out of the channel. He can't talk to them. It's going to be Ali and Ant. And I think Ant loves aggro a little bit too much to just let them play control. So I think that might be the last we've seen of the Warrior
He's
for
like,
this
all right,
series.
we're done with this armor nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's start attacking.
Yeah, gaining life does not mean that I kill my opponent faster. It means actually quite the opposite.
What?
So,
That's
you know,
crazy.
I actually was sitting down and talking to Ali at the pre-release event, and I was like, are you more of an aggro player or a control player? And she's like, I just kind of play a little bit of everything because I like mixing it up. And so if she's a little bit, you know, like indifferent in terms of what kind of archetype she plays, I feel like America's just going to go back to drawing board and play Fast X. Because Ant loves that, and it's really powerful, and something that he's stuck to ever since 2014. He's always kind of been playing aggro, almost to his detriment, because Ant qualified for the World Championships by playing aggressive lineup, and then when he brought like all aggro to the World Championship, he kind of got bopped by some of the decks that were out there.
That's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You gotta outpredict people, and when you're just always gonna bring aggro, sometimes you get outpredicted, but sometimes you still get them. That's the thing about aggro decks is they can pretty much just always win.
They usually have a fighting chance. Even in the previous metagame, the Witchwood, you could argue that was probably the weakest aggro has ever been in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
There's probably a few other metas that you could probably point to, maybe post Nax Ramus a little bit, like very before Undertaker just truly took over, or you know right before GVG. Like there's like a control paladin, control priest, mid-range control shaman-ish time, but very soon aggro took over after that, right before the championships and obviously the World Championship. But I mean, like that was like the weakest aggro had been for a long time. But still, towards the end of the metagame, we had aggressive lineups being able to win HCT tour stops. We had aggressive decks come out of nowhere and top out ladder. So you know, I still think that even if aggro is at its weakest, because of the nature of Hearthstone, they're still always gonna have a fighting chance.
That's the beauty of aggro decks. No matter what, you still got a chance.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Wait, I was promised some discard stuff, and that is a Lucari sacrifice.
No, it's not. I don't believe it.
And Ricard's like, who put a Lucari sacrifice in my deck? He's like, did you do it, Dione? I told you not to do it.
He's like, stop. No, you.
I would love if they just mulligan quest and won the game. That'd be awesome.
That honestly, for me in Lucari Sacrifice, has been my highest success. However, it did get some new fuel. So Solarium is one of the big ones that comes to mind for me, is draw 3 cards and then discard 3 cards as it gets drawn.
Wow.
So it draws 3 cards, but at the end of the turn, if you haven't played them, you discard those 3 cards. So one of the problems that's been there for Discard Warlock is literally the amount of cards you have to discard. It's difficult, but with the Solarium, you complete half the quest with just that 1 card.
Here we go, 3 cards.
Yep. And you're just like, sure.
Yeah, well, those cards discard more cards.
Yeah, you know, those ones are a bit disappointing.
Right, but we
tap.
Can also discard.
Whoa.
That kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, you tap.
Soulfire and Lucari Felhound's purpose is to discard, so they are fulfilling their purpose in a way.
Did you see Allie's face?
She's like,
what the heck?
What? Are we really going to lose to this? Because there's another deck with infinite resources?
Exactly. So it's not quite as strong, I'd say, as the way the Pogo Hoppers were.
Oh, sorry.
But it's still just enough stuff. But honestly, they may have kept a more important card with Omega Agents.
No.
Because Blood Reaver Gul'dan's going to bring back a bunch of 3/2 imps, right?
Yes, but you have the hero power.
Omega Agent is 5 mana, and when you have 10 mana, the Omega effect happens, and it summons 2 copies of itself. I'm thinking Soul Infusion could be in here.
Oh.
I'm thinking just at 5 mana,
I like that.
Card will summon 12 attack and 15 health worth of minions. Like, that card can get pretty ludicrous.
Yeah, that means Omega Agent in its final form can take down 1.5 Annoyatrons.
It kills Deathwing pretty effectively.
That's so. I guess we're gonna have to, disagree on the definition.
Discards.
You know what I would love if it was like they even had some weird backup plan of like Howl Fiend and Treachery, and then like they could discard themselves, and then when they finish the quest, they can discard their opponent.
Oh, I am guessing that is in here.
Well, they have Demonic Project, so very clearly they thought about Mech Cthulhu and disrupting it. Demonic Project is a 2-mana Warlock spell that says transform a random minion in both players' hand into a demon.
Yeah.
So Mechathune decks tend to be very lean because you need to have Mechathune as your last minion, and you need to have everything set up, and you usually need a full turn on your. You can't just like set it up and then pass. So you can Demonic Project at the opportune time, but we haven't really seen the Mechathune decks outside of Taiwan.
The other cool interaction I've seen with Demonic Project is playing it, and then when your opponent actually uses the demon, you just got Sacrificial Pact in your deck. You destroy a demon for 0 mana and you gain 5 health. Demonic Project turns one of their minions into a minion that you can destroy for free.
That is creative. They have double Demonic Project. One isn't enough.
Right now, not the most opportune time to Demonic Project, and especially like in this matchup, it tends to be fairly weak because there's not super key minions in your opponent's side. But this opens the portal.
Wow. Oh yeah. And now the quest is finished. Portal can come online next turn. Ali Strauss, no please whatsoever, but she's in for some pain.
I would say a downgrade to the Giggling Inventor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very rare that you see Gul'dan attack.
Yeah, do you even know what he says when he attacks?
I have no idea.
He says suffer, and then he attacks.
Just old man with a card. Suffer!
Well, you know, in the very beginning days of Control Warlock and stuff, you know, when I was like playing Control Warlock with Skull Minari, I like played at least a Trailblazer and I got like I forgot how I upgraded it somehow, but like I upgraded the weapon attack and I heard it. I was like, oh, that's weird.
You know, you can Toxicologist now. Get rid of those. So like Alaneth, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So run out of cards, you Toxicologist.
Toxicologist.
Start whacking them for 1.
Yeah.
Relieve the fatigue.
The Alaneth Mage can just play Toxicologist, but you know, if it's in the bottom half of your deck anyways, you're still in trouble.
So the coolest thing I like about the Nether Portal is that it actually separates your minions for Meteor. They have to choose one side of the portal.
Oh, yeah. Cone of Cold,
yeah.
Betrayal, like, you know, all these, like, positioning, damage removal stuff.
I think it's one of the coolest things about the portal. It stays on the board.
Yeah. It also makes Direwolf Alpha really impossible to play.
Yeah, you know, I mean, as is the nature of your discard Warlock deck.
It's so beautiful. It's golden. These are men of culture if I've ever seen one. They have golden Lakari Sacrifice. They actively sabotage their own collection to have a piece of history, which is to win with Quest Warlock for the first time.
And Twisting Nether plus the way the portal works is a nice little interaction there.
This is awesome.
This is a sight to behold.
And they have so much like time, you know. The big downside, of course, is losing Buddy for Gul'dan, because eventually, what really matters is being able to have these resources and having the Death Knight. But hey, I mean,
we've got 2 Omega Agents for that.
The thing is, if you can win with that Death Knight, that's just another, you know, proof that you don't necessarily need to be supported by these other cards that could win. Like, if you play Druid decks and you put in enough good Druid cards, you can pretty much fill in the last 8 to 10 cards with whatever silly win condition and still come out on top a lot of the times. One deck that I played to Legend in the past couple days was Star Aligner Druid. And it was like, all I did was just play a lot of Druid cards, but eventually, like, once in a while, I Star Alinered them because I just had good ramp and whatnot and overpowered my opponents. And I think like it's a similar concept, but if you don't have Bloody Gul'dan, you just have to win through the quest.
Look at Brady. He's like, oh, 3,200 dust we spent.
It's like, why did I spend 3,200 dust?
Why did I say yes?
Or, you know, maybe another question is, did they open the Lakari Sacrifice, perhaps, from their free legendary back in the Journey to Ungoro days?
Oh.
There you go. Now, maybe there's like, you know, Reading Hours like, I finally have use for this card that I opened so long
for a Mega Agent. Life total is dwindling for Ridgerwins in Korea, though.
Yeah, and they don't have as much easy ways to gain life. Although they did shut down their opponent's Dry Whisker armor.
Yeah, it's a lot of imps.
There's a second Whisker armor, so 10 life.
Got Brawl as well. You're in the drawing cards business.
Speak to me.
Yeah, losing the Bloody River Gul'dan was really brutal. Ooh. Mega assembly.
It's a nice way to start refueling a bit.
Man, it's okay. You should. You weren't good enough to. Oh wait, this is brilliant. When you discard your hand, you have no other way to win. What do?
You copy theirs.
Copy your opponent's hand.
Nice.
Gerwins is a genius.
So
Or he's the most foolish Hearthstone player we've ever seen. But I respect a man that can dance with that line of disaster.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat here.
This will be a mercy.
They're going to try to just spend as aggressively as possible.
Yeah, now they want to dump their hand, because then they can just Azalina and go toe-to-toe, and they can shuffle more cards in their deck so they can buy more time. And, you know, if you're ally, you don't want a dead man's hand right now. You want to prioritize removing stuff. And, like, playing Lich King. Like, those are what you care about. What mechs are in Warlock? Because very clearly they're going to get a chance to Omega Assembly.
I don't think Warlock has a mech.
There's no way. Really?
I think they have 0 max, actually. I can't think of one.
Oh my goodness. Allie is squinting so hard at her screen. She's just like, what do I do? Do I set up a weapon here? But the weapon is better for, like, you know, more minions on the board. Do I just play Harrison Jones for tempo so I can fight back and try to pressure my opponent? How do I win from here?
That is the squint of impending disaster where you're like,
Yes.
am I actually dying to Nether Portal right now? Like, this is such a rare thing to see.
What now?
Oh, man. Blood Razor. A Mega Agent. And you're going to force another Brawl.
That's a lot of
And a
stuff.
Standoff.
We are one.
I thought it was just going to say
We are one.
at first. Yeah, that's not so good against this much health on board. The Brawl makes this a lot better, though.
So now when you can Brawl, but this is your second Brawl, now you actually do kind of want to shuffle your hand with Dead Man's Hand.
I'm worried.
But you can also throw away a couple things that you don't necessarily want. Like, Shield Slams are a little bit tricky. Second Brawl straight up! That means they're out of Brawls! If they're not shuffling Dead Man's Hand into their deck, that means they plan on winning the game before, before fatigue.
And the actual bigger consequence to this was the hidden benefit that Redgermans has built in here with Azalina.
Oh, yeah.
It means that the fatigue possibility is that much thinner. Like, now you're having to fight against the imps turn after turn after turn, while they also get to shuffle extra cards back and forth.
So you can't blame the Warrior and Team America for thinking, well, we can just outlast them. Eventually, they life tap so much more than we have. We'll win in the fatigue because we can gain life and they can't. But when you have Azalina in here, and you have this, you know, mystery of closed deck list, that becomes so difficult to account for. Because I have no idea what this Warlock deck has, and clearly Team America does not. Yeah, I don't need this Doomguard.
Down to 12, though. I mean, that is starting to get to a scary life total.
Omega Assembly.
Another big part of the Azalina here is the information you get. So you know exactly what your opponent is generally planning to do afterwards.
But I'm also kind of happy to see this because 2 Shield Slams and Execute does not mean that they'll be able to deal with my imps for very long. And now that I have unconditional removal through Execute, I can deal with his their Lich King. They won't play Omega Assembly. I'm a little bit sad about that. I just want to see what mechs that they can get. What if they get Mech-Cthulhu? They have ways to discard their hand.
Well, that's the is you want a Dead Man's Hand prior to the Omega Assembly, right?
I don't know. I think I want to shuffle more stuff in to give myself more time to have this portal max.
You could be right. The thing about it is if you shuffle in the Omega Assembly, when you draw it, it's 3 mechs that you draw at once, rather than drawing them one at a time.
That is fair, but
there's a trade-off either way.
There's a trade-off. You get the mechs now versus you're stuck with what you get later. And you do decrease your fatigue by 2. because you shuffle an extra card, 2 extra cards in there.
It's looking like, to me, like they're planning on winning before that as well.
That is true. The 12 life
lots
is
of
very
stuff.
concerning.
I must choose.
Lich King.
I think it's something big. I think sometimes you just gotta throw a Hail
I think
Mary.
they want like Frostmourne and just go face every turn because I don't think there's a lot of taunts in there. I think that's actually the best card they can get. Army of the Dead.
You can get back, you can Omega Assembly and get mechs. You could Dead Man's Hand the mechs back into your deck and then Army of the Dead them out.
Hey, it's like the Boom ship, or actually it's like Flark's army.
And then a Mind Control tech appears. You've seen all these
Well,
fantastic synergies and wonderful cards and suddenly a Mind Control tech.
It makes sense given that when you play the card Sacrifice, you're often just going to lose the board anyways. So Mind Control techs make a difference. They pick up the Frostmourne. I mean, they can just pressure Warrior out of the game over the course of 3 turns.
They can Dead Man's Hand a Frostmourne back into the deck.
Oh.
Yes!
And they know their opponent has Harrison, though. That's a problem.
No!
But do they know that they have Frostmourne? They don't. They can wait for the Harrison to be played and then Frostmourne. This is one of the silliest games of Hearthstone I think I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot.
This other warpath really bad.
Is it time to assemble? I mean, your hand is very light. You only have 6 cards, but you do miss out on the hero power.
I think you need the armor. They want the shield. They're just putting the shield slams in. They're like, yeah.
What armor are you going to get? You don't even have your death thing. It looks like they got the upgradable Framebot, the Coppertail Imposter,
The 6 mana
Rush.
with magnetic, right?
I think it's just Rush. And
Is it
then
just
Death
Rush?
Rattle to add 2 1/1 sparks to your hand. I think that's what it is.
I actually don't recall if it's magnetic. I feel like it's magnetic.
If it is magnetic, that will be pretty nuts for the stealth minion.
Oh boy.
Oh, weaponized Pinata. Maybe that's the way you can get bailed out here. Emphasis on the maybe.
Yeah, Meat Wagon I don't think is getting the job done right now.
You can magnetize it to pull out a big minion. I still haven't seen the direct win condition for this warrior deck. Like,
I think it's just attrition.
it's just
I think
it's
that's the
actually
game
just
plan.
Dead Man's Hand.
Like, you want to be able to play against aggressive decks, not decks that have these weird concoctions of resource generation, right?
Right? Yeah, I think so.
Like, if you're playing against a zoo deck, you could realistically just blow up all their cards.
Yes.
When you're
that
playing
much is
against
true.
Nether Portal, you're like, these aren't the 3/2s I was picturing. That is one of the saddest shield slams that I've ever seen. And Red Gerwin's deck has shield slams in it, and they don't have a way to generate armor.
More max war gear. Okay.
That's a Ziliax. Is that it? Nope, it's a 2/6 one. I just saw the lifesteal and I got really excited. And then it's just 5-minute 2/6 taunt lifesteal.
So, you know, meat wagon. We can have a meat versus meat battle here.
Just shield slamming.
I mean, that's intentional, just to dump the hand because their hand is too thick. Sonya Shadow Dancer and all the rush minions they can get. If they get Dr. Boom Mad Genius, then all their rush minions with Sonya will have so much synergy. Okay, so we've seen demons, we've seen mechs, we've seen elementals, we see ninjas. You know, undead, we've seen the Lich King himself. At this point, you know, we're just one Mechathune victory short of, you know, the whole shebang.
I think the end is here.
We have a Mega Assembly.
What do you get?
Iliax. Steel Rager.
Another
Pinata.
pinata. Infinite pinatas with the Sonya.
Can they Army of the Dead something?
They gotta, right?
I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping for the Mega Assembly combos that you were talking about.
I
They have taunts in their deck. We've seen Direhorn Hatchling, for example, in the previous game.
Was that from Stonehill?
Oh, it could be. You're right. It could be. I do think that they have. I do remember seeing it. I just don't remember if it was from that.
This is a struggle.
They could have played Sonya to eliminate another minion on board, because then you would have gotten a 1/1 back and you would trade it a couple times over. But I guess you could still do the same thing by hero powering Shield Slam. It gives you only 2 mana remaining, which means I guess you play the 1/3.
You know, if your mana crystals just kept ticking up by 1 a turn, I could see how this would work. But they just can't spend 10 mana a turn, or they can't spend more than 10 mana a turn. Like, that's like been the big detriment. You just have too much stuff.
Frostmourne, 12 damage. Wow, Gerwin's high five. Team Korea guarantees the victory over USA. And more importantly, they did it with style. I have never seen Lucari Sacrifice Quest Warlock win a game, let alone win one on a tournament stage.
I don't know if I've ever seen it play a game, but I just did, and it won.
I think your win rate legitimately goes up when you mulligan the quest, because then you actually have another card that can help you fight for the board.
It's really hard to discard 6 cards.
Yeah,
but if you do, we see what happens.
For reference, when Ungoro first came out and towards the end of the expansion, you know, that was when HS Replay was kind of starting to hit its real peak for data aggregation. You could sort cards by win rate. So you can see what the highest win rate cards, but also consequently you can see one of the lowest win rate cards. And Lucari Sacrifice was like in the bottom 10 easily, and that was along cards like it was like worse than Magma Rager. It was so bad because people just kept dying every time they got the quest up. Like the reason why is it costs too many resources. You're dumping your hand, and then when you do get the quest up, that's all you play, and then you've invested so much of your life and your resources into it. You're stuck kind of like picking up the pieces afterwards, and ever since then, Discard Warlock has often been kind of an afterthought. People make fun of Discard Warlock as like a joke, you know? But now it's actually not only, you know, being brought to this tournament, but winning and sealing the victory 2-0. I don't even know what to say, Admirable.
If your opponents are playing nothing but anti-aggro decks, you've seen now 2 new ideas to take that on.
I was told that there was discard shenanigans, so I thought they kind of meant Mechathune, right? Because they didn't tell us exactly what was going on in the decks, because we don't want to reveal it before, you know, the other team
doesn't
finds
work.
out.
You have another portal on board.
Well, yeah, I mean, I thought they didn't tell me that it was Quest Warlock. They just said discard stuff, and I thought, oh, Cataclysm, which meant, you know, Mechathune. So that's what I thought was going on.
Cataclysm does complete the quest.
Right.
A lot.
So you're thinking, but the thing is, you often draw Mechathune and you'll discard it, so it's kind of a weird.
That's why you got the quest alternate, right?
Inefficiency. That's why you mulligan the quest. But you still have the card that discard.
No, you keep the quest.
Oh, okay.
So you Cataclysm, and if you drew the Mechathune, you rely on the portal.
You can play the Dinomancer that summons back. It's a death rattle that summons back a minion you just discarded, so you cover your bases but when you discard Mechathune. Except what happens if you discard both Mechathune and a Dinomancer?
Let me take these notes down real quick.
Then you play another one. Oh, wait, no. You play Dinomancer and you Baleful Banker. No, I don't know, man. I'm just
You're a genius, Dan. You are a genius.
This deck is, with every suggestion...
undefeatable.
With every suggestion, the win rate of this proposed deck drops by a few percent. It started off at like 40, 45, and then now it's in the low 20s. If we keep going, we can hit 0 by midnight.
Look, Cataclysm is a great way to clear boards, all right?
It is, and it's a fantastic way for you to regret ever crafting Yogg-Saron. But I think if you evaluate things at a bigger picture, perhaps it wasn't the discard Warlock that is so strong. Maybe it calls into question what was Team America thinking by bringing this Warrior deck.
Well, we're going to see our third shot and find out. This is the kind of matchup that I think they're looking for, though. It's something that is more board-centric and is looking to deliver a lethal blow with board there. Like, that's really the key there. Is I don't think Rainy Hour and crew are going to have infinite resources this time around, unless, of course, you know, they have like a Shutterwalk thing going on.
They don't have infinite resources per se, but they have Hagatha,
which is a lot.
It virtually feels like infinite when they play Hagatha early. I'm actually keeping Hagatha against this Warrior deck.
Oh yeah, not even close. Zero question about it. Hagatha, one of the best cards you can play against a kill all your stuff deck.
Yes. So another way to generate a ton of resources. Now, granted, I think the Warrior deck is not bad at its core idea. The only problem is that I just haven't seen a way for the Warrior to directly win. Long gone are the days where you can just not actually have a win condition. Your main win condition would be to do nothing. Even fatigue decks actively do stuff. Togwaggle swaps your deck, and then you like start naturalizing them, for example.
Yeah, I want the days to just tank up back.
But like, you can't win just by hero power. Okay, so Dr. Boom Mad Genius is the way you win.
Well, he did say he was going to make Dr. Boom proud. And so that, to me, inherently would spell that out, right? Like, that's the way you win. You Dr. Boom. You make him proud.
Out of my jungle.
A proud papa.
Well, they picked up a pretty big minion in the Primordial Drake. But, you know, Earthen Might on the Voltaic, or on the Rush minions with Sparks. Sparks is what they're called, excuse me. Land onto it.
They are eyeing this.
Radiant Elemental?
Oh, the Radiant Unstable! Woo! Oh! Oh!
How did they do that?
Infinite evolution.
Literally,
They gotta hurry up.
just go as far. They were just like, they realized, like, oh my gosh, we got it. No, they got Fairy Dragon!
You can't target that.
That's so funny. What if they land on like the the glass thing? Their goal is to get to Tarantus, and then there's a hard stop. They can evolve the Radiant Elemental. Anaconda, no. There are beasts. There's Corridor Creepers.
Yeah, my Anaconda don't.
That's a really good minion, but not against this deck. And hey! What? No! Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, they're going for the targetables. Can you imagine if they would have gotten the Radiant and gone immediately into Fairy Dragon Bear Shark? Okay, so
that was really fortunate sequencing there because they just landed.
So
they
we've
kept
got to
high-fiving. See, the power of friendship is not just a meme. It's actually real. They took the magic marker, Sharpie, and everything and drew the smiley face. And, you know, I also got to say, it's awesome that the Koreans met up and played in person. Because, you know, that's the spirit of the competition, that they're connected online. Like, obviously in America and Europe, they can't do that. In Taiwan, they had the option to, but they all chose to play from their homes. Granted, because it's like 4 in the morning. But Korea decided to start the tournament at midnight and hang out and just meme on some of the world's most renowned content creators and players.
Let's go.
I love it.
Well, it was an explosive start. Execute has brought it to a bit more of a screeching halt, but this is what you keep Hagatha for.
Yeah, they executed a 1-1 in concept, right? Because you combined the Unstable Evolution on the Spark. The Spark was a 1-1, and you had to execute that minion.
Well, it did get +2/+2.
True, true. I mean, cards were spent on it. Unstable Evolution counts as like half a card because you're splitting it, and then of course the Earthen Might,
which replaced itself with the gigantic explosion.
How funny would it be if Warrior won anyway?
It's a very winnable game. I mean, again, this is the type of deck that you want to face, a deck that
Right.
just plays stuff. They don't have a crazy infinite engine, even though we got to see Radiant Unstable Evolution on turn 3. They don't have like this extreme ever-growing resource. It's a much more fair playing field. And so, you know, Hagatha is looking to break that, but those are just spells that you're playing. I think that's where armor total is really at its finest.
True, and Dr. Boom Mad Genius can also generate so much value. I mean, Warrior still looked in a really good position after we are kind of calming down from what just happened. I will say though, I've seen Hagatha do some amazing stuff, and you have to think about the spells that were added into the mix. There's a couple of really useful ones like Voltaic Charge or Voltaic Burst.
The Storm Surge.
The Storm Surge.
Or Stormbringer.
The Stormbringer, the one that transforms to legendary minions, and also, you know, Eureka, which is not necessarily as good, but all you need is like that one Stormbringer to really bring onto the board, and then your opponent can't answer it.
He's a mad genius.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they haven't earned that title yet. So far, they're just mad right now. And if I'm Korea, I think the moral victory was claimed for this game. They even play the Rune Spear. This is my favorite team ever.
Well, yeah, the Rune Spear is what we saw in Game 1.
Oh, right. That's right. The first series.
Yeah, you got me excited about Rune.
I thought it was the
Rune Spearing Stormbreaker.
My memory thought it was the Even Shaman that did it, but you are correct. It is this one. It's awesome.
I mean, we're approaching Hagatha. It's about to get real.
Yeah, you know, if your opponent Primordial Drakes here, obviously they wouldn't account for that, but we know it's in the hand, then you feel a lot better about playing Hagatha compared to killing off your own board. But still, Hagatha is super crucial to their win condition. Part of the problem, though, is you know that they have Harrison Jones.
I'm feeling better about this Hagatha now.
Oh, I am raring to go. Oh yeah, time to curse this land and generate spells. I'm ready for some major fireworks. I mean, I'm talking about getting Stormbringer and then grabbing the Spellstone and then using Spellstone to copy whatever minion you get. Okay. I mean, we're talking about fireworks. Lich King, trying to the highest. Oh, the Harrison for the Rune Spear. I'm still getting familiar with the Dr. Boom Hero Power art, but
that's the Discover Mech one.
Okay, but I think overall the Lich King is just much stronger.
Oh, yeah. Lich King discovers, you know, Death Knight cards. Those are great. Not only that, but it makes your opponent kill it. And right now, that's not available for Rainy Hour and crew. And so when Lich King lives, I mean, he says there must always be one. You know, a lot of times he dies instantly because he's so powerful, but right now, he's living.
Well, Rainy Hour, we're going to try to see if we can draw cards and see if he can pick up X or something else. Unstable.
Wait. You can use the Earthen Might and get another Radiant.
Still has a lot of ways to draw cards here. Crushing Hand!
So you play an Elemental, hope that you draw the Spellstone.
Reno's like, yeah, I'm really good. And yeah, they're just laughing, man. Korea's having the time of their lives, and Ant's just alone on an island right now because he can't talk to Allie.
A lonely island, indeed.
Gosh.
Ant's like, does he draw the cards up there?
Yeah.
8 mana.
The armor gain, though, from the Blast Shield's really nice.
Yeah, that was the gain 7 armor hero power. Dr. Boom Mad Genius it gives all your mechs rush, and then it swaps the hero power every turn.
Yeah.
It's a really delightful card. The hero power that's up now is summon 3 1/1 mechs. And so because Dr. Boom's text, all the mechs have rush for the rest of the game.
Giggling Inventor with the Stormbringer.
Oh boy. Oh, plus the they've got the Primal Fin Totem.
Oh yeah. Comes the Boom.
And he's living it up right now.
I think they feel like they're finally in a safe-ish place to play their game plan, which is to win the board and then turn the tides through Dr. Boom Mad Genius. The only thing is, remember how Shaman only had like 4 cards or 5 cards and it looked like they were outmatched against the Lich King? Just look at how they recovered. Picked up some really nice spells in Crushing Hand and Lava Burst. Now, Ant's left to pick up the pieces here. Wants to deal with all these 1-2s.
Keep killing stuff.
Yeah.
Killing stuff's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love this. You just blow up everything.
Part of what Dr. Boom Mad Genius's power is, too, is because you end up discovering mechs every now and then with its hero power, you kind of have that Deathstalker Rexar effect where if you just get this stick of mech, it can compound upon itself because you can magnetize most mechs these days.
7 more armor on deck.
Yeah. Which is actually not exactly what Ant wants at this point. I think he wants more board impactful stuff, dealing 1 damage to all enemies, or to discover a mech, or even to just deal 3 damage. Those are all the abilities that you can get off of whatever comes out on the hero power. Is it time for the Stormbringer? I don't think you get that many more minions than what you have right now.
It's a true story.
I'd be really tempted to Stormbringer here.
It's a true story.
And you run into hand space issues too. Okay, they're going to use other things instead. I mean, granted, if they're able to keep their minions alive a little bit, and they know that Dr. Boom can't transform into hero powers at the next turn, they can squeeze out one more minion with the Primal Flow totem and still have enough mana to play the Stormbringer. Okay, I like this. It makes sense. As long as our opponents don't have Warpath, which they do, or a Blood Razor.
I like being greedy with it.
I do too. I think this game is going to go long, so you need to be greedy with it. There's a lot of low-powered legendaries in the pool right now. There's like Lindessa Sonsar as a 1/1. Yeah, you can get, and then the traditional ones like Blood Mage Thanos and Edmund Van Cleef and Nat Pagle. It's like,
you can't really look at like averages. Like averages can be a good guideline, but you have to look at like the volatility of it.
Yes.
Like say there was like one minion that had like 1,000,000 power and 1,000,000 health. But then there were, 100 of them that
they're like 2/2s.
Yeah, like
then it's like the average is like a reasonable stat line, but it's not necessarily a good example. But you guys get what we're talking about. The standard deviation is actually fairly high. To the point where some bad
Stormbringer succeeds, and they have Rush.
They can attack, and then he can evolve Dragoncaller Lana.
Yes, they can also evolve the Beast, which is Death Rattle. Your opponent summons a 3/3, so fairly important to get that one going. Katharina would actually recruit a Quarter Creeper as well.
Oh yeah, he could Portal to kill off the Katharina and then evolve the Quarter Creeper. I think it's still better to evolve 9 to 10 though. The power difference between that is so massively high.
Yeah, I think with Hagatha rolling in the hand context, you're not really that worried about 3/3, so the Beast probably just sticks around with a big stat line.
Yeah, plus you have the Rune Spears, you can just whack the 3/3 immediately and transform again.
I must decide.
You gotta wait a little bit for that, but
this is where Hearthstone is at its most fun, is when you have all these scenarios where you think about like, okay, never have been put in this scenario. What's the optimal way to play this? No unstable evolution. They want maximum value off of it, and they can play a Quarter Creeper for free and essentially upgrade it to high power.
Like, you have enough stuff on board right now. Like, your opponent needs to take care of this, so having the Dragoncaller Lana be upgraded to a 10 a lot of times just means the exact same result.
Oh, well, I think it's the best case scenario, right? Because then they would have had 2 minions on the other side of the board to deal with if
Feels like
the Katharina died.
Discover a mech here. Little things important. Very much like Rexar as well, you want to sometimes be just taking the most efficient option, just so that way you can actually use them.
Now they have double Quarter Creeper Unstable Evolution.
Yeah, and they're about to go way deeper into these dungeons.
Well, they can shield slam one. It's like, should we use it? They already transformed Unstable Evolution. But they've already used the Stormbringer. But the answer is yes, definitely. Rainy Hour and crew looking to pick up any other minion to pair with this Unstable Evolution. Flametongue Totem's not bad, so you can play that first, see what spell you get.
Oh, you can Eureka out the Quarter Creeper as well. That way you can pay 6 mana for your 2/5.
I don't know. I'm wondering if there's any scenario where Eureka can be safe for like a really powerful surprise, because it seems like most of this deck is really cheap.
Well, if they're going to use Eureka now, I'm just going to guess they don't have like something super powerful in the deck. This also gives them 2 8-drop evolutions.
The icy winds
Nice.
will consume your soul.
Oh, you could Eureka that at some point down the road. Because Dr. Morrigan's Death Rattle, it's the new Warlock legendary minion. Oh. Its Death Rattle is you swap it with a minion in your deck.
Oh, you said they didn't have infinite resources.
And so if you get a Eureka from Hagatha and you Eureka out Dr. Morrigan, they just swap with each other when they die.
And then, assuming that they ever die, you will have, essentially infinite ways to stay alive against fatigue. That's in a hypothetical scenario. Of course, more than likely, your opponent's just going to ignore it and then just go face.
Yeah, but look at the situation that's happening here. Like, Ant's goal is to basically just kill everything in a row. Like, it's not an unrealistic possibility to see something like that happen.
Okay, then.
Yeah, and Dr. Boom's emote there is about what I feel, too.
Well, they have Dead Man's Hand. So in some weird hypothetical scenario where Shaman's able to keep generating like a lot of resources and they won't fatigue, and then Warrior has Dead Man's Hand and a bunch of removal, this game could end up in a tie.
Oh, no.
But we are about half an hour away from that conclusion.
It's way more than half
We're
an hour.
about
What's the turn
an
limit?
hour and a half away from
Like
that conclusion.
70-something turns.
It's 50 turns each. It's like 100 turns total. Oh, around there. Not exactly.
That's one hero power.
Yeah. I mean, this Rune Spirit's going to get Harrison as well. But the spell that comes off of it could be huge and impactful. Discover background minion. I was really hoping for like a Shutter Walk to do something really crazy here. Harrison Jones is going to be the first priority, and you do have the hand space for it. You have 9 cards.
That belongs.
Liking it so far. And remember, this is a game to just fight for a little bit of those extra tiebreakers and some pride, because USA is down 0-2. The series has already been decided, so this is kind of just icing on the cake for Korea. That's why
This game is awesome.
this game was sick in all the right ways.
I love when games are just big and dumb. It just excites me. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the end in sight.
Job's done.
Okay.
I mean, I could realistically see a tie happening. That excites me.
So the awkward thing about Thrall, Deathseer, and Hagatha is they both kind of work in the same direction. Even though, yes, it's fantastic to be able to have, you know, the Thrall and to upgrade the minions and the Hagatha for the spells. There are scenarios where it's like Thrall has no minions to evolve, and because you spent all of them for Hagatha.
Got the big roll. Throw up the prayer hands.
Get cracking on that life total. Gluttonous Ooze to strike back against the weapon. 2-mana Bloodlust. Did they play Prismatic Lens?
They played Farsight.
Yeah, just that the Ooze and the Bloodlust almost switch costs.
I love Prismatic Lens. 4-mana Paladin spell. You draw 2 cards, a minion and a spell, and you swap their costs. I love that card.
All right.
There's the DMH.
Yeah, so the Dead Man's Hand, the plan is to essentially just have an infinite train of mechs. Not actually infinite, but effectively do so. Oh, I can't. I really, now I really want the Eureka on the Dr. Morgan. I just really want it. I want it more than anything right now. How do you even prioritize remove? Like, here's the thing. Dr. Boom's supposed to be really good because of his hero power, and I feel like they've hero powered like twice while having it up for 6 turns or so.
Okay, not the greatest swap. You're pretty happy about that. Get to laser down the Bright-Eyed Scout.
Yeah, so it's reasonable so far, but now with the Gluttonous Ooze coming down.
Summon 3 1/1 mechs is the next hero power.
The Eureka, please.
Oh, please. Please. Game, I've never needed you to give me a Eureka more in my life. They could evolve into another Dr. Morgan.
Another Dr. Morgan.
That's the way.
That is the way. Oh, another weapon. Okay, let's see what the Omega Assembly puts out.
This is a critical turn here for Ant. He's able to actually find a spot to clear out board and fit in the first Omega Assembly.
Right, and actually force their opponent to react to it. Because Scorpomatic actually does have a target here. And then you can you magnetize it with anything here?
Well, I'm looking at the hero power clearing out board, right?
Oh yeah, the hero power, of course. Summoning 1/1.
they've kept using the hero power turn after turn. Think about it's just not an overwhelming amount of things that happen with this. I mean, it is the true essence of an attrition style. So Ant wants stuff on board. He wants more stuff rather than less stuff.
Oh, he's giving time to his opponent.
But no further minion to play. This is like the first time that Rainy Hour has listed. Don't evolve it. Don't touch it.
No.
Don't you dare do it.
They know. Warriors playing so...
No!
Oh.
You give me that. You give me that Dr. Morgan back.
I mean, they do have removal for the Deathwing. I get where their head's at. They need to threaten their opponent.
I think Dr. Morgan's more threatening.
Maybe. It was almost dead on... It was just dead on board, right? Because of the laser and the 2-1. And they don't want to fatigue any faster.
That's true.
If you don't get the optimal scenario of Dr. Morgan copies, you end up pulling more minions from your deck.
Well, you may just end up... Like, this may be like a situation where you just... It goes downhill, though. You know, this may not be recoverable from this state.
It's already been pretty downhill for a while. Ever since Dr. Boom came up and has been generating value off of the hero power. Hagatha's been also hanging in there too, but you know, the Shaman's down to the last few cards.
Join or die, or both.
I wanted Eureka there so bad, just because
To punish.
I wanted to see this unstable evolution go round 2.
Oh yeah, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, that's not a fun lightning storm.
I don't know how many more minions they have though to even utilize Unstable Evolution. They might just simply have all spells, which is not the way to win. They want to maximize Unstable Evolution. I don't know what's remaining in their deck. The team has gone far longer than we've anticipated to.
And Ant just gonna keep killing everything.
Right, hero power, some of the 1/1s. And then, based off the line of play, that's all you really need to do. Like, you know, we've seen Ants just basically clear off and then pass and just let their opponent try to react. Not much more needs to be done. Just hero power. Or, sorry, you can just pass. Okay. Okay.
All right, Mecharoo, I know you started out as a 1/1, but we got some work to do on you.
Evolve to a 7-mana minion.
Stick around for 1 turn.
Yeah, with the Fork Lightning, gives you availability to push up to 9 mana.
Or does it?
Or does it? I mean...
The Scorpomatic ultimate counter to Mecharoo.
Wow. Imagine if that thing had Rush. That card would be a lot better.
He's gonna preserve the health.
He doesn't even want the damage. I think the Ant realizes what's important here is to just drain the opponent of resources.
Out of cards.
Yeah, I think that Dr. Morgan would be really good right around now.
You just need a way to keep going.
Yes.
And we're down to the final few chances.
Oh, Calamos. But, you know, Warrior has so many removal tools. So they can play Calamos next turn, and then if they can stick Calamos, they can win Fury it.
A path dimly lit.
Dimly lit is correct, Hagatha.
So they have to be careful of Overload. They can zap to clear up their hand space. They want to keep the other Elemental for Unstable, right? Are these going to evolve this with Brawl Destiny? They're done with Hagatha generating spells.
They're like, yeah, we're done with you, Hagatha.
I think their best cards like Strangledor and Type. Oh no, it's a 3 tag. I was thinking 3. Okay, Lifesteal might be useful-ish.
Well, it's not sticking around.
Yeah.
5 damage divided randomly among non-mech units.
Yeah, it's like therapy for all the times Mad Bomber has just gone wrong. It's just like, it does exactly what you want to do a lot of times when you play this mech.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. All right, Thrall, step in. Step in, Thrall. Wait, they get to burn. Do they?
Yes. Congrats.
Nice.
Get to burn 1 card.
You'll be just like
Oh.
me.
That's nice.
You call that a weapon?
And here we get a tour of Hearthstone's arena format. Cards that you will never see in Constructed, but might see if you click the bottom button in the loading screen. Say Threshaton's not bad.
I'm just saying, when you consider stopping right here, like, that's when you know you've hit the bottom of the barrel.
And the box. We need something really big.
Tour of the arena.
No, that's the worst minion possible.
Oh my gosh.
I can't think. Gordon's like, all right, I'm out of here.
It's time to jet. Oopsie. An ant has successfully done it.
They burned the death coil they shuffled in. That's gonna do it. Oh, now he can evolve too. Dr. Morgan, him back. Yes.
Punish him.
Morgan Abomination. All right. Grand Argus, keep it, keep it. No. I want to. Okay, that's good too.
Oh yeah.
Keep that. Keep that.
All right, little mechs. Let's see what you got.
Good on Rainy Hour to stick through it. He could easily concede at this point and be justified, but he wants to see what's behind the box. Augmented Alec.
Ooh, the old dead man's hand.
That's so funny. That does not have lifesteal, unfortunately. Hey, you can draw a combo card.
Gets to kill that stupid dragon thing. Shut up.
He's gonna kill his 1/1s at the end of the turn.
It's only damaged. Only damaged.
Oh, only damage.
Yeah.
All right. Will Rainy Hour accept his defeat? Oh, it hurts so bad.
By the elements.
Make the 1/1.
Diony is like, okay, I'm just gonna play for you.
Upgrade to Doomsayer. Oh.
Oh my god.
This game is tragic.
Ant still can't win yet. He can gain 14 life though. Twice.
These are very symmetrical looking boards.
He could gain 28 life and clear the
This
board.
would be a good time for a master plan.
You know what I would actually really like is if he just did all this and then Reckless flurried everything away. Just nuke the board for 45.
I want it so badly now.
Oh, you can
it.
bounce back the dry whisker and gain more armor.
And then Reckless Flurry.
That is actually your win condition. Yes! Come on! Okay, in his mind, he's thinking how he can make sure not to throw this game away, but I think that'd be pretty hilarious to do that.
Well, the one way you can lose... Now, there's no way. I'm not going to stop thinking about it.
Aww. He's actually just clearing the board. Okay, I was like, dude, can you just do it? But
He wants that dub. I don't blame him either. You went down 0-2. Pick up the dub.
from the very beginning, we saw Shaman keep Agatha, but it just was not enough. Or anywhere close. Warrior outlasts the Shaman, just according to your prediction. And man, story of what ifs, you know, like what if that was a Tyrantus instead of a Deathwing with the unstable evolution? What if they could double evolve both of those 10 drops?
Dalaran. Nobody ever kills Dalaran Mage.
And Reniar just kind of showing Ant what he had in his hand. That's going to
Still had
wrap it
all
up.
these.
Finally, the series has come to a conclusion. as America gets a little bit of hope back, but Korea once again takes the series and is our current leader for the Boomsday Invitational.
What an insane looking game.
That was really fun. If you go back and only caught half of that, I highly encourage you to rewatch that game. It was really fun from start to finish.
The whole series was great. We saw the way that outlasting a control strategy works, and then we saw the way the control strategy actually tends to take on something else. They want to be up against something that does not have an indefinite amount of resources.
Yes. So it wasn't exactly the 3-0. It was quite different from that, but I think you guys get to see a little bit of why Dr. Boom got some of that hype beforehand. So if you guys want to log in and get a chance to get Dr. Boom, I believe it's 1 in 9, perhaps? No, it's according to the legendary neutral minions as well. But you have a chance of getting Dr. Boom if you haven't logged in already to the Boomsday Project. So claim your free packs and your random class. It's a class legendary minion, so it is guaranteed. Yeah. All right, there you go.
1 in 18.
1 in 18. It's a class legendary minion, not a spell.
Is it a minion?
So it is a 1 in 9. Because there's 9 spells and 9 minions, 9 scientists.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Boom counts as it's a character.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
Right. All right. So there you go, guys. We're done with our 4th match. We have 2 more remaining. So coming up, we have our 5th match, and then we'll wrap it up with, I believe, America versus Europe. So coming up next is Korea versus Taiwan. Don't go anywhere. More Boomsday Invitationals coming up right after this.